Thank you, Presiding Officer. And can I echo the First Minister's welcome to my newest colleague, Tim Eagle, here in Parliament today, and also to pay tribute to Donald Cameron. He was a fine parliamentarian in this place, and I'm sure that he will be a fine minister in the Scotland office. Presiding Officer, this is a reshuffle that the First Minister did not want to make. A reshuffle brought about by the actions of Michael Matheson, someone that Humza Yousaf believed to be a man of integrity, a man who had to sack himself because the First Minister was too weak to do so. This winter, Michael Matheson should have been saving our NHS, but he spent it instead trying to save his own career. Whether misleading the media or mismanaging our health service, SNP ministers have repeatedly failed the accountability test. Presiding Officer, Mr Matheson leaves government without a shred of integrity. But having failed to dismiss him, Humza Yousaf is left without a shred of credibility. For the First Minister, this reshuffle was a missed opportunity to reset his failing leadership, a missed opportunity to regain control of the agenda, a missed opportunity to kick the Greens into touch. And he ducked it because the green tail continues to wag the SNP dog.
Let us hear Mr Hoy.
And regardless of how far and how fast she falls, this is still a government which cannot escape the long shadow cast by Nicola Sturgeon. So Fiona Hislop, and I welcome Fiona Hislop's appointment, and I recognise the First Minister recognising that he is blazing a trail in bringing more women into his cabinet, and it is good to see her in a role as Transport Secretary. But such is the influence of the Greens that this government is now recycling its cabinet ministers. We wish her well, and in the words of Kate Forbes, we hope that she has more success making the trains run on time than her predecessors. As Neil Gray takes over where others, including Humza Yousaf himself, has failed, it is a critical role, and we wish Mr Gray well in it, and we look forward to working with him. But he must simply see, as he takes on this new role, that doing more of the same won't deliver the change that patients so clearly need. 2 years after Humza Yousaf announced an NHS recovery plan, our NHS is still in crisis. Surely the First Minister can now see what every patient in Scotland sees, that his recovery plan has failed and it should now be scrapped. And while there is no place in his government for Kate Forbes, her close ally, Jim Fairley, takes up a rural post. The First Minister is reworking an old proverb. He is keeping his friends close, but the friends of his enemies even closer. Presiding Officer, I would like to welcome Kokab Stewart to the government. It was inspiring, as the First Minister said, to see the first woman of colour join a Scottish administration, and I wish her well as the new Minister for Culture, Europe and International Development. And given how frequently it's nice to see him here in the chamber today, given how frequently her boss Angus Robertson is out of the country, topping up his air miles, I'm sure she'll be kept very busy deputising for him. Presiding Officer,
Mr Hoy.
Presiding Officer, for the sake of the country, for the sake of our farmers, our hospitals, our roads and our railways, I hope that these new ministers will tackle the problems that the SNP has created and neglected over the last 17 years. But sadly, I do not live in hope. But as the new ministers climb aboard Humza Yousaf's sinking ship, they can take comfort from one fact. So long as the First Minister remains in Butte House, their jobs are secure. Because the real lesson from the Michael Matheson scandal is this: Humza Yousaf would rather burn what's left of his own credibility than take action against one of his own ministers. Presiding Officer, this is just the latest example of an SNP government distracted by division and pursuing the wrong priorities. Scotland surely deserves better than this.